Alright guys, this is my 2018 Senate prediction. So as you can see, there are 43 Republican senators not facing re-election and 23 Democrat senators not facing re-election. So this obviously is an uphill battle for the Democrats from a statistical standpoint. However, the Republican president, Donald Trump, along with the Republican Party at large, also has had historically low approval ratings. And without further ado, we shall jump into our prediction. The following states, I believe, are a safe bet for the Democrats. These states have incumbent Democrats who are not necessarily popular, but popular enough to get reelected in these extremely blue states. Washington, Hawaii, let me just see my OBS is running correctly. Yep, there we go. OBS is doing its job. Washington, Hawaii, Minnesota, New Mexico, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, Delaware, Maryland, California, and in California, because of how the primary system works, there may not even be a Republican running, and in New Jersey. Now you might think New Jersey, Bob Menendez, what about the corruption trial? Well, it looks like nothing's really going to come out of that. New Jersey is a blue leading state, and I think it's relatively safe to say at this time that that state will be staying blue. So I think the following states are going to be Republican for the same reason. Again, not necessarily the most popular Republicans, but popular enough to get them reelected. These states are Mississippi, Nebraska, Wyoming, and Utah. And then you have two independents up here. You have Bernie Sanders of Vermont and Angus King of Maine. These two states, you have independents who are really popular in their home states. And these independents also caucus with the Democrats. So these are technically Democrat wins up here. So this leaves us with 37 Democrats, 47 Republicans, and 16 states. That's not what it says. Oh yeah, Virginia. I forgot to add Virginia to the safe Democrat column. You have Tim Kaine there, who is very popular in Virginia, despite his popularity being low in the rest of the country. And with Virginia being a blue enough state, he'll be reelected in Virginia. So now you have 38 Democrats, 47 Republicans. Let me just make sure OBS is working right. There we go. And you have 15 states that could go either way. So let's take a look at some of the Rust Belt states up here. You have Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. These were all Trump states in 2016, with the exception of Minnesota, but they were only Trump states by 1%, or 0.3 in the case of Michigan. I think that the president is unpopular even in these states. You have 4 Democrat incumbents who are all from those states and can at least have a facade of being on the side of Trump's voters in their states. I think that's enough for these states to remain blue. And then in the case of Debbie Stabenow here in Michigan, wait, what's going on? I can't have the, have a lighter shade. Yeah, someone have lighter shades available. It's like represent these states could go either way, but, you know, the party is just favored to win there. So the Democrats are favored to win in Wisconsin. They're favored to win in Michigan. They're favored to win in Pennsylvania, unlike in the darker New York, where Kirsten Gillibrand is definitely going to win. So yeah, 4 special elections right there for the Democrats. Well, not 4 special elections, but the Minnesota special election and the 3 other regular elections in the Rust Belt there will be going for the Democrats. And in the case of Debbie Stabenow over here, you also have going for her a very likely high turnout from the Democrat stronghold of Flint, Michigan, because you'll have people there turning out in large numbers to vote against Rick Snyder administration. And obviously Rick Snyder, as we all know, didn't really handle the Flint water crisis that well. Moving on to a few more states, you have West Virginia, Tennessee, Indiana, and North Dakota. Both of these states, not both, all of these states overwhelmingly voted for Trump, sometimes by 40% or more. That said, in these 4 states, you have Democrats who often have more in common with Trump than Schumer, and they know their states very well and represent their constituents' values and fight for their issues, and also have a history of winning there. West Virginia and North Dakota especially have a history of crossing party lines when a Democrat that fights for their issues and values arises. And the fact that the political landscape this year favors Democrats, and yet a recipe for four winning Democrats in West Virginia, Tennessee, Indiana, and North Dakota. Keep in mind that in Indiana, though, if anything comes out of the scandal that arose that Joe Donnelly shipped many of his state's job overseas, Joe Donnelly is the incumbent Democrat. If anything comes out of that, you better believe the state is going to be not just leaning red, but solid red. But as of right now, you have a blue-favored election in Indiana. So now let's take a look at the states of Missouri and Montana. These states are ruby red. They voted for Trump by over 15 points. However, you have Schumer-like Democrats in these states in the form of Claire McCaskill and Jon Tester. Oh, look at that buzz cut. And I think the people in these states aren't really going to like that these senators' voting records match that of Schumer, or at least are very similar to that of Chuck Schumer. And because of that, these states will flip Republican. So now that leaves us with 46 Democrats and 49 Republicans and 5 toss-up states. Republicans need to get one more seat out of these to gain control, and the Democrats need to get all 5 of them to get control. And I don't think that the Democrats will be able to do that. I think that the state of Texas will stay in the Republican column. And because Ted Cruz is an extremely unpopular senator. However, Texas is such a red state that you need the perfect Democrat who can speak to the Latino population of Texas near the Mexican border, just as well as he can speak to the conservatives up north, or at least the northern portion of the state of Texas, and you really are not going to have that in Texas. So I don't think the Democrats are going to win in Texas. And let's take a look at these other states. So I forecast that Republicans will keep control of the Senate at this time. But now let's go to Nevada. I think that Nevada will stay blue. Or not stay blue, will flip blue because you have a Republican incumbent. You have Dean Heller and you have Jackie Rosen. And Jackie Rosen is a recently popular Democrat running against Dean Heller. A very big part of winning in Nevada is winning over the Clark County unions. I think that this race is so close in every other regard that whoever can do that will win. And these labor unions probably going to support a Democrat over an unpopular Republican. So Nevada's going to flip to the Democrats. Now in Arizona, you see nominees to be decided down there. So obviously we don't know who's running against whom, but because the state generally favors Republicans, I think that as of right now, it's more likely that a Republican will emerge victorious in Arizona. Florida, you have Bill Nelson, a Democrat who was abnormally popular at the beginning of the year. However, his popularity deteriorated throughout the year, especially after a poor handling of Hurricane Irma. I think if Rick Scott, the governor of Florida, wins the primary, it is a total toss-up. Like, it's going to literally be 50-50, like Al Gore, George Bush levels of closeness in Florida. But if any other Republican wins, I think that Bill Nelson will still be favored to win because it is a pro-Democrat year. So I think that it is more likely that Bill Nelson will hold on to his seat in Florida. And finally, Ohio. Ohio, you have the same situation as you do in the rest of the Rust Belt. But in Ohio, Trump won by 8 points and not 1 point. I don't think the factors that are causing the region's other Democrats from winning can flip the vote by that much. I mean, maybe if Trump had won the state by 5%, then everything would be enough to keep Sherrod Brown in office. But as of right now, I think that the Republicans will win Ohio and are favored to win Ohio at least. So that's my prediction. 52 Republicans and 48 Democrats. That would be a net gain of 1 seat for the Republicans. Now just to remind you, the states in the lighter shades of red or blue could go the opposite way. The very best case for scenario for Republicans is a 62-38 filibuster-proof supermajority. With the very best case scenario for Democrats, if all of these light Republican states turn blue, is a 53-47 takeover of the Senate. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and I'll keep you posted this year. I'll help doing these videos every 2 months. Thank you.